All right, welcome back. And today we're going to continue with prisms. Today, instead of rectangular prisms, we're going to look at this triangular prism. So the base, as you can see down here, is here. I'll make this bigger so you can see it. But the base is a triangle. Okay, now ours won't look exactly like this. Not all of them. Some of them will. As you can see on this first example, there's a right triangle there where my example does not have that. But some of my examples, like this one, is what my example looks like, but it's the same concept. Okay, so with a triangular prism, just like what we did yesterday, it's still going to have two congruent parallel bases. Okay, the difference was yesterday we had a lot of freedom. We could choose whatever base we wanted because there was always a parallel side. Here, if we look, we only have two sets of parallel bases. Okay, the triangles on the ends. The rectangles, those are not parallel. Okay, so we have to use the triangles as our base. Okay, now we can use the same method. It's still going to be surface area equals 2b, 2 times the area of the base, plus perimeter times height. And the reason why, if we look at this, if I unwrap it here, so look at my picture here. So you see we have the two bases, these two triangles. If I fold those back, do you see we have a rectangle? Okay, now that rectangle is the same. The perimeter of that rectangle is the perimeter of your base. Okay, so that will give us one length, and the other one right here is the height. Okay, so that's where we get the perimeter times the height to find that rectangle. Then the area of the two triangle pieces, those are your two bases. Now to find your volume, just take whatever your area of your base is and stack it up with the height again and again and again. So if we multiply it times the height, so volume equals B times H. Okay? And that will tell us what our volume is. So I'm going to make this smaller again. And let's go ahead and look at this first one. So once again, we are solving for the area, the surface area. Okay, so to start off with, we've got a triangle here on the end. Those are the bases. Okay, so I'll shade them in. This and this, those are the bases. So hopefully you can see the height has to be the 8. If it helps you, you can write that down. Height equals 8 inches. Okay, now to find the area of the base, we can just do 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 times 4 times 3. Now keep in mind that height of, when I say base times height, the base of the triangle is 4, the height of the triangle is 3. Those are different than the height of this prism. Okay, so 1/2 times 3 times 4, that's always what we do for triangle. 1/2 of 4 is 2, 2 times 3, it'll just be 6 inches squared. Okay, now to figure out the perimeter of the base, so we know it's 2 times that b, so 2 times 6 plus perimeter times the height, which we said the height is 8. To find what the perimeter is, though, I need to know what this missing side of the base is. And so let me erase this. Actually, it's kind of in the way there. But if we are trying to figure it out, we have a right triangle for a base. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember the missing side, the hypotenuse, that is going to be your c. So 3 squared plus 4 squared will equal x squared. I don't know what that x is, what that missing side is. That's why I put an x there. So 3 squared, it's going to give us 9. 4 squared is 16. That'll equal x squared. 9 plus 16 gives us 25. 25 equals x squared. Take the square root, and x will have to equal 5. Remember, it has to be positive because it is a distance. Okay, so x equals 5, which means to find our perimeter, we can just add up the 3 plus the 4 plus the 5 we just found. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 gives us 12 inches. And right here, I'll go ahead and write height is 8 inches. So 2 times 6 gives us 12. 12 times 8 is 96. Add those together, 108. And just like yesterday, it'll be inches squared. To find your volume, just the area of the base. So 6 times that height of 8. And it's just 48 inches. Remember, this one is cubed. Okay, now that worked out really nice for us. The square root was a perfect square. That's not always the case. On this next one, the process is still the same. And in fact, the area of the base, we can find pretty easy. 1/2 times 11 times 10. So if we do that, we will get 55 inches squared. Okay. So we know it's 2 times 55 plus whatever P is times H. Now your H right here, 15. So something times 15. Okay, to find our perimeter, we need to first find this missing side again, which is also our hypotenuse again. So 10 squared plus 11 squared equals x squared. 10 squared we know is 100. 11 squared, 121. Now when we add those together, we get 221. This will equal x squared, and that is not a perfect square. Square root of 221 doesn't come out perfectly. Okay, so we go over here, take the square root of 221, hit enter. You can see 14.86606.875. We're going to round to 2 decimal places, so 14.87. Okay, that's what we use our x to be. So we already said our height is 15 inches. So just a reminder, it's not always going to be perfect. That's okay. So our perimeter, 10 plus 11 plus 14.87. If we add all that up, 10 plus 11, 21 plus 14.87, 35.87. And that'll be inches. So I guess I need to move this 15 over. So 35.87 times that 15. Okay. So 2 times 55, 110. 35.87 times 15. Use a calculator. I didn't have this memorized. 538.05. Add those together. 648.05 inches squared. Okay. Now your volume's pretty easy, just base times height. So 55 was our area of the base times that height of 15. If we do that, we'll get 825 inches cubed. All right. Now we've got 2 more, and these 2 are a little different, that they don't have a right angle in the corner of the base. Okay. Now, if we look here at this shape, okay, there's a right angle, but it's right there. That shows that this 4.3 is the height of it. Okay. Now, that's not the height of the prism. It's the height of the base. On this one, if we make our base the ends, which we have to make it the triangles because they're the only one parallel. Okay, so the area of the base is still 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 times 5 times 4.3, we do all that. We're going to get 10.75 inches squared. Now your perimeter, you can already find. There's a 5, a 5, a 5, 5 plus 5 plus 5 gives us 15 inches. And then finally your height of the prism right there, what's missing, 14 inches. Okay, so 2 times 10.75 plus 15 times 14. So 21.5 plus 210. And our final answer then, 231.5 inches squared. Now for volume, we just take that 10.75 and multiply it by the height of the prism, which is 14. And when we do this, 150.5 inches cubed. And once again, you don't have to do that in your head. Use a calculator. 10.75 times 14, that's fine. I don't need you to be able to do this in your head. I just need you to be able to find the answer. Okay, so 150.5 inches cubed. Now on our final one, okay, last problem of the day. Another triangular prism. So once again, we care about the ends, okay? Now to find the area of your base, you have to know what the height is. Okay, it's a triangle. Without that height, we can't figure it out. So there's a right angle there. In order to figure out what that height is, let's think about this for a second. If we draw this triangle that shows half of that, if it's perpendicular, and do you see these two little arcs here? Those tell me that those angles are the same, which means the opposite sides are also the same. So I know this and this are the same. Let me get rid of that. Those two are the same, which means this has to be 5 centimeters as well. It's an isosceles triangle. If it's isosceles, that means this cuts to the middle, okay? It's going to bisect it. So half of 6 will be left with a 3 over here, 3 centimeters. Meanwhile, we already had the 5 centimeters here, so I can solve for that missing side. Keep in mind, we'll have to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now on the front, both times we did it, we were solving for c. This time we are solving for b. We have c, it's 5. So 3 squared is 9 plus x squared equals 25. X squared equals 16. So we take the square root of that, x will equal 4. That 4 is also known as the height of our base, not the height of our prism. The height of our prism right here would be the distance between the bases, so that's 8. So let's write down some information now. So the area of our base is going to equal 1/2 times 6 times the height of the base, which is 4, and that will result in 12 centimeters squared. Now your perimeter, 5 plus 5 plus 6. We had to fill in that 5 because it's isosceles, we can see based on those markings. And that will give us 16. Remember, the perimeter is just centimeters, because it's just a distance. And finally, the height of your prism, we already marked it, but 8 centimeters. So now, 2 times the area of the base, which is 12, plus the perimeter times the height. So that's 24 plus 128. We'll add those up, and we will get 152 centimeters squared. Okay, meanwhile, the volume would be whatever the area of the base is, so 12 times the height, 8. 8 times 12 does give us 96 centimeters cubed. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. There's another It's Learning assignment today. Please get that done. Tomorrow will be a catch-up day, but keep getting things done. If you don't have the Chapter 10 test done, you've got to get that turned in soon. Okay, the year's coming to an end. Let's finish up strong, and let me know if you need anything.